Okay, let me adjust this microphone a little bit. All right, let's now start looking at some problems for this and what we're going to be looking at. So we're talking about direct variation. There's a bunch of different ways to look at that. They'll present these problems. All right, you'll see them in graphs, you'll see them in tables, see them just in words. So what we need to do just basically is not panic depending upon which way they do it, and understand there may be a little reading involved, but we just decode it and pick out what we need and go from there. So this first one, they're giving us a situation where we have to, it looks like we're going to have to do some graphing. We're going to have to figure out what's our y and what's our x, and we'll have to answer a question. So the grocery store sells 6 oranges for $2. Assume that the cost of the oranges varies directly with the number of oranges. All right, so it's the cost. All right, so the cost varies directly with the number of oranges. So they're kind of telling you the order when they say it like that. So remember, what goes on top of this, our y or our x? Well, our y goes on top, right? So it's y over x. So our y is going to be the cost. So there we go. All right, so we've got something here. So I know that this right here is going to be my cost. Okay, cost of, we'll say, of oranges, and then my x is the number of oranges. All right, number of oranges and the cost of the oranges. All right, and then it says 6 oranges for $2. So 6 oranges is right here, $2 is right here. And I hate to say it, but this is a direct variation equation. It's proportional. That means it goes through the origin. Because if you don't buy any oranges, you're not going to spend any money. So all you need to plot a line is 2 points. Right? That's it, 2 points. That's what I love about this. And so we're going to take this, we're going to make a straight line. All right, we're gonna put a arrow at the end of it, and it says right here, this situation can be represented by y equals 1/3 x. Graph the equation. What is the cost per orange? All right, so if 1/3 is our constant of variation or our rate, right? We've got y equals 1/3 x. What that means is the number of oranges that I put in, I multiply by 1/3, and I get the total cost. And that works because if you put 6 in, and we know it's supposed to be $2, well, 1/3 times 6, right, is going to give me 2, because 6 goes in twice, right? 6 divided by 3, get 2. I did cancellation there. But you get 2. So if we want to figure out what's the cost per orange, and they're giving us this equation, just put 1 in for x, because x is the number of oranges. So you get y equals 1/3 times x. If you put in 1, you get y equals 1/3, and that means that's my cost. So you have to figure out what's 1/3 when you're talking about money. Well, it's 1/3 of $1. All right, and 1/3 of $1, you would just do 1 divided by 3, put it in your calculator, and you're going to get 0.33 repeating. Well, if we're talking about money, you only go out 2 spaces. You round if you have to. In this case, you don't have to. And so the cost per orange would be 33 cents per orange. All right, and that's not exact, but it's close enough for what they need. All right, now let's look at another problem. Now this one doesn't have a graph or a table or anything. It's just words. So we may have to make our own thing. So color printer can print, let's say, pages and then minutes. All right, says 36 pages in 3 minutes, right? And 108 pages in 9 minutes. The number of pages varies directly with the time. At what rate is the color printer printing? All right, so you can do this a number of ways. You could do your figuring out your constant rate of change, doing it that way. Or you could, because this is a proportional thing, we can do our division problem to figure out what our rate is and just make sure it's consistent between the two. Now, it says the number of pages varies directly with the time. So it's always y over x. Number of pages is on top. Time is on the bottom. That means pages is my y. And time, my minutes, is my x. So I can take, it's going to be 36 divided by 3 to figure out what my rate is. And so my rate will be 12. So let's just make sure that that's the same thing. Well, if you have 108 divided by 9, okay, and you don't have a calculator handy, and I happen to know that this is 12, but I just want to show you that it's 12. All right, 2 times 9 is 18, and that will give you 0. Sorry, it lined up really lamely. But so it's the rate the color printer is printing is it is printing 12 and then pages per minute. So 12 pages per minute. What's great is the way they ask the question will also tell you basically what your unit's going to be. Like it's usually something per something else. And so that's, these problems, if you just read them correctly and read them patiently, you can usually get the information you need off of them. All right, we're done.